Greetings, Twin Flame beloved. I'm having an 80s day, so welcome to Twin Flame Q&A Tuesday. I have been getting a lot of women, especially men too, but women who have a fear of their own neediness. And this fear makes it really hard for them to keep their twin flame or to keep a partner who's in a healthy, soulful alignment, because these women are so afraid of seeming needy. And so they try and like not be needy, and they do all this work on themselves. They're seeing healers, they're working with therapists, or they're doing a lot of their internal work. And as they rise in their power, you know, they start to open to love, and then they find someone who's interested in them. They're feeling really confident. They're like, yeah, I'm not feeling too needy. And then their heart just goes, I'm in love. I find someone who might be my twin flame, or they're just like an amazing person. And then in their moment of confidence and power, they fall in love, or they get connected in this way that brings out their neediness. And it's this next layer of vulnerability. Their feminine energy really unlocks, and, you know, makes it really, really hard for them to feel fully safe, because all of that needy trauma, codependence, or just like, I don't know if he likes me, their confident girl just goes out the window, and it's like, whew. And I know because I have been there. And so what happens is she gets in this spiral of not wanting to be needy, and she works on herself. She gets in a relationship with someone who is attracted to her not being needy. And then all of a sudden he sees the truth, which is she has this needy side. And then there's this runner chaser dynamic, and she feels really not good about herself. Her self-esteem drops. You know, she can feel really, like she's never going to be loved. And I know because it's a scary place that I was in for many, many years on and off. It is really an on and off thing. And after my twin flame counterfeit massive blowout, I actually had 5 years of just deciding, okay, well, I'm never really going to love passionately again. I'll either date like, you know, passionate guys where I know I won't get invested. Like they'll just be like quick, exciting love affairs, or I will find like the nice guy who I'm not attracted to. I was in a relationship for about 9 months, a year, something like that, where like I just didn't want to have sex with him. I was like, oh, we have to have sex. Like I could get into it if I really worked it, but it was safe for me because I wasn't needy. I didn't need anything from him, but I really just enjoyed his connection, his friendship. So if this is you, or you know somebody, or at some point in your journey, you have had this thought of, I'm either madly in love with this person who's not there for me, and he can't handle my needy, crazy side, my vulnerability, my rawness, my wounds, or you are totally fine with having your wounds and you're fine being a mess, but you feel like you can only attract with that some weirdo that you don't want, or someone that's like really beautiful, but it's just not a fit. You don't feel like the chemistry is there. Then I have 3 tips for you that will help you undo this mess and help you to come from not a place of neediness, but empowered divine feminine energy. So the first tip or step is to realize that our society has had a phobia of the feminine. Our society has had a phobia of the feminine. So I'm going to talk a little about what is the feminine, how has this phobia shown up. But first I want to mention that with any phobia, we create a lot of fear-based situations that reflect fear. It's not in flow. It's coming from, ah! So if you have a relationship where there's a lot of this like, ah, there's probably some phobia there, and our society is laden with a fear of the feminine. So as we heal our own phobia of the feminine, we can actually arrive with full flowing feminine energy and find a partner who can handle all of that. Because, okay, guys, the feminine and the masculine are one, and we are both half-half. Even if we deny it, even if we're afraid of our feminine, even if we want to just be safe and be in our masculine, it's actually impossible because we have both sides. So with our feminine energy, being females in a female body, and men too as well, or if you're transgender or whatever, we actually have a huge responsibility to master both. And especially as women with 5 times the amount of hormones as men, with these erratic moods, with this magical, natural, feminine ability to create from our wombs, we have the responsibility to heal this wound of the sacred feminine. This phobia of the feminine needs to actually be healed within ourselves. So society has a phobia of the feminine. For thousands of years it's happened because the fastest way to control a society is to create a war and splitting all of society in half into wars. So the fastest way really to control and dominate a society is to have a gender war, because 50% are going to be male and female pretty much. And if you can get a gender war going on, then you can easily control and dominate a society. So there are dark force entities, powers, governments that have been controlling 99.9% of us for thousands and thousands of years. And these beings, these entities were written about in our Bible. And this comes from the Babylonian texts. And yes, it does have to do with the story of the Anunnaki, if you don't know about it. But there has been a reptilian brain aspect of ourself that has been dominating through an ancient story that has caused us to have modified DNA in our bodies, where a huge part of our brain isn't even used. A huge part of our spiritual superpowers, our third eye has been like open like this much. And if you've ever done anything like plant medicine, you're like, holy shit, there's so much more there. I can see so much more. How can I see pink light coming out of my hands? Or how do I see these grids all over my body? How come when I speak, there's sacred geometry coming out of my mouth? How can I teleport to any location? Well, these are gifts that we have inherently, but due to the control of our DNA and of our consciousness, we have been using a small part of ourselves. And the way this has happened is by creating divisions through the entire civilization. All human beings on the planet have had this split. And the way that I have found it's happened, especially over the last 5,000 years, is by destroying the goddess, by destroying iconic statues. Even sacred sites have been buried and burnt, by burning women leaders, women priestesses at the stake 5,000 years ago and beyond. And then even more recently, you might be one of these priestesses who have experienced being burnt at the stake, either in a past life, or maybe this morning you burnt yourself on the stake and didn't even realize it because you put on your booty shorts and you were like, oh my God, I fucking hate my cellulite, because the Illuminati caused us to believe if we bought their products, we would, 1, pay them, and 2, we would disconnect from the most powerful source, which is our female body, which is our feminine energy, which is the goddess within us. So we as a society for thousands of years have disconnected from the Magdalene codes, from Isis, Ashtar, Inanna, Aset, all of these aspects of the creator mother. We have literally been burning at the stake our mama Gaia. We have been cutting down her wood and burning her down. We have been drowning her oceans. And it's time to reverse all of that. We can, and it starts by doing it within ourselves. So going back to the original topic of like neediness, how does this conversation tie in? It really does. Thank you for being with me. And I'm seeing your comments, Amy and Sarjeet. Thank you for being here. So we find our twin flame when we harness our feminine energy, we harness our masculine energy, and we integrate both. Women have been the victims of the persecution of the feminine. Men have been victims of the persecution of the feminine. They experienced it differently, but they went through it as well. They are afraid of owning their feminine voices, and they can operate more in their masculine. And, you know, these imprints have shown up in everyone. And it's time to restore the face and the image of the goddess, not through so much necessarily, you know, religious pictures of Mother Mary or Isis, although these can inspire us for sure if you like that, but really by awakening the goddess in you and being able to look at the icon of you, which is your face in the mirror, your body naked in the mirror, your cellulite, your pussy, your yoni, the sacred chalice, by looking at your wrinkles and your frizzy hair and maybe gray hairs or whatever is going on with you, and just loving that wild feminine energy and allowing that needy part of the feminine. Because the feminine, let me go into briefly, what is the feminine? The feminine is associated with black versus white is yang. Yin is the feminine, yin yang, you know, the yin yang symbol. The feminine is more stillness. It is more hollow. It is able to create from a seed through nothingness into somethingness. The feminine is represented by the mother or matter, mother matter, being able to take the divine spark and create this 3D reality. The feminine is associated with the circle versus the line. She's represented by the past, the ancient world, the pagan world, pagan religions versus more galactic spiritual religions. She's represented by care, the concept of compassion, care, understanding, allowing. If this is too out of balance, it can be enabling, it can be overgiving, it could be not really standing in our power because we don't have the masculine. You know, an out of balance feminine energy could be just really wanting our twin flame and being needy and not actually saying, hey, like, I get it. You need this. What do you need? What is healthy? And what is just a little whiny baby? The feminine is associated with the baby or the mothering of the baby, but also the vulnerability, the innocence of the child, the really almost becoming that naive, loving, magical child, honoring that, but also becoming it. Versus the masculine is more about protecting that child. And sometimes the extreme masculine can be so protective of the child, he can become violent and then perpetuate violence so much that other children get harmed, and then we get in a cycle of violence and war. So this first piece that I want to bring home is that there is actually a reason for the neediness. It is a deep-seated phobia of the feminine. And one of the aspects of the feminine is needing nutrients and needing to give nutrients. So there is an aspect of not neediness, but a needing of a sustainable give and take, ebb and flow. A woman who is out of balance with that, she will be like, give me lots of help. You know, I get these women that like will write like a 1.5-page long email about their twin flame story, wanting my free time. I'm like, okay, do the math. If I have 11,000 plus followers on my YouTube channel and thousands of followers on other portals in my email newsletter, and like a lot of people need support, why do you need the 1.5 pages for free? Well, that's a form of narcissism, really. It's really not understanding healthy boundaries. And that's what narcissism is. It's a little side note. You can watch some of my videos about narcissism. Men, women, all of us, we're growing up in a society of narcissists. We all have some issues. And so if you are a twin flame, you are here to look at that snake and say, oh, okay, I have some narcissism. I have it too. Jack and I will have, you know, bouts where we overgive and then we overstep our boundaries and it goes back and forth. But truly, it's almost impossible to be in twin flame union if there is unresolved narcissism. And narcissism can really be on this other side of neediness. So I wanted to just put that in, that narcissism and neediness really can be reflectors of each other. So people call it empath narcissist, and that's true. Sometimes it shows up as neediness or the needy empath and the narcissist. And the empath can actually become a overgiver as a healer, saying, you know, let me help you with this because I need you. And it's a form actually of manipulation, all deep, very subconscious stuff. And so that actually that brings us to part number 2, is really to the second tip that I have to break out of neediness is to actually claim your neediness as a source of power and actually ask for what you need and set boundaries and cut off that narcissistic, hidden, manipulative kind of, I'll give to you, like I'll give you sex because I know you like sex, you like validation through sex, and I'll hope that you'll give me love and commitment. I mean, I've even done strategy sessions with single spiritual women that they had 3 children with someone that was sleeping around from the very, very beginning, that didn't want to commit to her. And they married him, even though he cheated on her from day 0, because she needed his love. And she was willing to overlook this abusive pattern until finally she said no. She stepped out of it. I want to know myself. I want to call in my twin flame. So one of the big mistakes here is that women think that their twin flame is a man. They think it's someone that can meet their needs. This is the very, very exact opposite of what a twin flame is. A twin flame is you meeting your own needs. And through the mirror of the twin flame mirror, through the reflection of you meeting your own needs, then boom, no big deal. Your beloved gives you what you want. Never, ever. It is impossible for it to work the other way around. I will be happy. My needs will be met. I will be happily ever after when the guy comes. That's the biggest bullshit that women have been digesting and becoming allergic to, having like massive gluten allergies to. I'm serious. One of the reasons women are allergic to gluten, corn, soy, dairy, all these things is because the same Illuminati that has fed us the dark, toxic love stories, fairy tale fantasies of Disney, they have fed us the same fucking sugar and shady shit out of the earth. They have been raping through Monsanto with their dirty ass seeds. They have been raping our bodies and creating satanic, dark, Saturnian-based rituals to promote a rape culture, to promote a culture where Earth is subjugated. And yes, there are dark entities and races that are controlling our planet. Cancel, cancel. We are freeing ourselves now from these races that have controlled our planet for millennia. We're finally raising from the ashes, realizing that we never were truly controlled. It was part of ourselves that allowed the raping of the divine daughter. I'm not the only one to talk about the Anunnaki. If you need to Google it, it's A-N-U-K-I. There might be 2 N's, Anunnaki. Anyways, I forgot, I'm more of a visual writer, but Anunnaki, look it up. Also, if you spend time in meditation and really feel into, am I living in a free will reality? You may start to wake up and realize that you haven't been, that you have been enslaved. This happened to me, and I started to ask, am I free will reality, or am I being controlled by some other power? And once I started asking for the truth, I just want to warn you, it is fucking terrifying. I went into dream space and realized I did have mind control. And then I started clearing that out. It was scary. I had to look at it. It was like looking at a really dark, scary energy. But guess what happened? All these clients came in, all this fortune came in. I felt sexier. My beloved and I had so much more energy. And I've done that at different chapters in my life. So I think it's more of like step by step, we're clearing out these dark control energies. But there really is a dark masculine control energy and a dark feminine control energy that's come through the hologram. And it's part of oneness. It's part of everything in oneness is broken down to the 12 aspects of the Kabbalah, the 10 Sephiroth, then Da'ath, which is the empty void, and then the Ein Sof, which is like the entire energy of unity and oneness. This is something I'm teaching through the 12 phases of twin flame alchemy. It is everything in the universe. We break it down into different aspects. So this part of us, this dark controlling energy, you know, the part that I didn't want to look at. You know, I went to a top university and found out the first couple of weeks there, it was the rape campus of the country. And probably America is the rape culture of the world when it comes to like university culture. And I had to look at that. Why did I manifest being a feminist at this rape university and watching friends just drop 30 pounds overnight because they'd been raped and become anorexic and they couldn't talk about it. And there was this shame. Well, that darkness was a part of myself. I too was dieting. I was doing it to myself. I was competing with the women. I was telling myself my cellulite was ugly or I had to lose weight. We are perpetuating this. This isn't them controlling us. This is us allowing ourselves to be controlled. So when we have that needy energy in a twin flame union, or when we have that energy in a twin flame counterfeit union, or when we have that energy in a karmic soulmate one night stand, a quick fuck, and we feel needy and we feel longing, a lot of that is basic biology. A lot of women cannot make love without feeling needy. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful to need love. It is beautiful to need physical touch and contact. So asking for what we need and setting a boundary. So what I'd like you to do right now is to ask yourself if you're looking for a lover or if you're looking for your twin flame. Or if you're not sure, maybe you want one more lover tonight before you meet your twin flame tomorrow. Maybe you want to have, you know, you want to go and travel to Thailand. You're a badass bachelorette boss babe. Maybe you have that, you know, 3-month window where you want to go on a world tour like I did. I went to Bali, Italy, Costa Rica, Greece. I had amazing lovers, and not just sexual lovers, but like deep friendships, men and women, deep friendships that I don't think I could have had I had my twin flame, because they were in the moment. They were raw. They were spontaneous. And I didn't have someone in my life like I have now. It's different now. I love it now. I love meeting beloveds and soul family with Jack in my life, but it's really like different now. Even when we have our single time, I feel him in my field. I create separation, but I still like want him there. So it's different when you have your twin flame. So if you have this 3 months to go fuck or whatever, or if you want your twin flame tonight, honor what you need and get clear. Write it down now. If you don't know what you need, how do you expect someone? How do you expect someone to know what you need? If a woman has not acknowledged that she absolutely does not deserve to be raped, she will not be raped. It is that little girl who doesn't know yet, and she's been abused in so many lifetimes, and she's wondering, do I deserve this abuse? Am I not good enough? I must be trash. I must be a sexual slave. I don't deserve anything more. She believes that. And that's why we need to teach our young girls that they don't deserve that. And we need to most of all teach that girl inside of us that she never deserved that. So ladies, let's stand up as women, as badass bachelorettes and twin flames, and say yes to what we want and say hell no with great fervor to what we don't want. And let's do this for us. And let's do this for that sexual slave over in India right now that's serving these dark, dirty, satanic rapists, who does not have a voice right now like we have a voice, who doesn't have this free 30-minute window to work on herself on Tuesdays. We live in such freedom and abundance. If we don't take advantage of this, then she will continue to be taken advantage of. So it's time to start this revolution within and set a boundary for what we really need. And let's go to the third part, which is really diving in to that needy little girl. We started out as a single-celled creature. That sperm and egg came together, and we were actually separate for about a week from our mother. We weren't connected or corded to her. And I'm going to read your comments in just a minute. I'm in my flow channeling. I want to finish this third tip. Thank you for being with me. This feels so nourishing to my soul, by the way. So we have the ability to be completely separate from our creators in a certain sense. But then after a week, we connected back to our mother. And then we're born and we deal with the karma with our parents, and we have their DNA within us anyways. So on a deep level, we need to be cared for by the mother, by the feminine. We need to be protected. We need to have those boundaries set by the masculine. So becoming your parent, becoming the mother and father for yourself, we have to stop enabling our inner children to get hurt over and over and over again. I did this. I hurt myself so many times that my vagina was on fire. I contracted an undiagnosable STD that got so inflamed that I was waking up every night. I would go to doctor after doctor and nothing cured it. And it wasn't until I stood up in my Aphrodite Androphonos. If you don't know it, at Aphrodite University, we teach the 12 archetypes of Aphrodite. Aphrodite Androphonos means the killer of men, or the murderous archetype. She corresponds also to Kali. And I brought this Kalian, or this Aphrodite Androphonos energy into a dream. And we use the word Aphrodite with the murderous because we do it with love. Aphrodite is the goddess of love. So I murdered a male entity who thought he was a deity. He literally thought he was a deity for many lifetimes. He was the head of the Illuminati, the Knights Templar, the Freemasons, the Anunnaki, this dark entity. It was really the satanic, it was actually Satan, to be honest. And I fireballed love out of my Kundalini, my twin flame Kundalini. And he shifted and didn't fuck with my yoni anymore. And now I have a healed and pure yoni. And I woke up that morning with orgasmic fluid. I was able to clear myself without using anything but my love. I had tried all the Western, medicines, of course, that didn't do anything. But my own love, my own Kundalini coming through a channel of the feminine love aligned with masculine energy freed my pussy from 5 years of horrific shame, pain, discharge, waking up, because we are sovereign beings. No one can control us. So if you're not with your twin flame, you're like, Amanda, help me. How do I do this? You absolutely have the ability to do this. God, Goddess created you as a reflection of him or her. You can do anything. You truly can. And part of it is making the commitment and decision, not being in control, not being in agreement with these control beings, these control energies, and also putting some control on the part of yourself that is afraid to be too needy. Say, hey, let her be needing. Set that boundary. I need to allow sex with a partner who can hold my neediness. Do you know what it's like to have the opportunity to make love to a partner who is happy to see you cry, who is happy to see you need him? Not because you're codependent, but because you have done the deep work within yourself and become so comfortable with who you are, and you're so capable at taking care of yourself and knowing that there's nothing that you need outside of yourself. You get to express that in a dance of sacred, tantric, twin flame lovemaking. What would that feel like? Instead of being alone and chasing after some guy that doesn't have what it takes to do that. So if you have a mirror of somebody who's not showing up for you, I would ask you to really look at your beautiful, sacred feminine energy, to cancel out any phobias you have about your feminine energy. It is not neediness. It is the need for sustainable reciprocity, giving and receiving. And there is also a need to set boundaries. If you have a twin flame runner, if you have a twin flame runner chaser dynamic, if you have a false flame that came in, a karmic soulmate, someone is not there for you. If you're saying, how do I get my twin flame? I think I know who he is. Girl, Don't focus on that. That is a story outside of yourself. That is a drama that can be healed, that needs to be healed first within this space. And really scooping up that part of you that needs to be loved. And the last piece that I wanted to share is that a lot of you ladies, a lot of you gorgeous ladies, including my previous self, express the phobia of the feminine by being terrified of a man who might show up for her and love her. And she might say, ew, he's so needy. What's wrong with him? Who agrees? Who has pushed away really great men or even boys when you were in middle school? I know my first boyfriend, I was laughing about this when my mom came and visited. I was talking about it with Jack. I dumped my first boyfriend in the most brutal way because I was like, oh, he's being so needy. I don't like how he's acting. And of course, now I'm like, that was me. That was so me. So I manifested a boyfriend right after that where I was the needy one, and he ended up leaving me for another woman, and I developed an eating disorder, and it took me like years and years to handle and heal my own neediness. So I'm going to look at some of your comments and see if there's any questions. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and post. Have just a couple minutes before I have to go. How do you know this is exactly where I'm at? Girl, you're crazy good. I love it. That's when you know you are in alignment. When will I find my twin flame, please guide? So somebody asking, when will I find my twin flame, please guide, needs to really look at her internal power, because that type of question shows me that you're looking for answers outside of yourself. And I'm saying this with total love. There's somebody that has probably from a young age disempowered you to know your truth. So by asking questions, when will this happen versus how can I empower myself to find my twin flame? What is not in alignment? Those questions will be more powerful. What I'm hearing when I hear a question of when will I find my twin flame is there's almost like a scarcity. And sometimes we do have scarcity, like time scarcity. Like that's why I don't let women who they know they need to work with me. I don't say, okay, just decide whenever. It's like, if you are in alignment with working with me, we are going to make this happen within the next week. Like, I don't just say whenever, if there's an agreement. Otherwise, we're going to, talk a few months from now and see if there's another program. The price might not be the same. I mean, it just depends. But sometimes I'll do like, I'm going to offer you a better deal on this coaching program if it's a yes, because I like scarcity. Scarcity can be a motivator. So that's why I'll do things like an open cart. And those of you who are badass boss babes, like there's like this whole slimy pressure sales thing, like buy tonight at this time, even if it's not in alignment for you. But sometimes we actually do need to hold boundaries and set containers, because if we don't, people will take forever. So I would say, if I was looking at like, when can it happen? I would say, okay, when do I want it to happen? Okay, it feels like a year would be a good time. 3 years would be too long. 6 months would be not enough. I need to do this, this, and this. I'll really create a budget. And then I would ask myself, what do I need to do to make it happen? Those of you who have been on the journey for many, many, many years, you're still single, you're in your 30s, you want to have a baby, it would really serve you to work with a professional at this point, doing all the DIY, the healing, the videos. If you have a time crunch, or even if you are wanting to make it happen, because that serves your soul, you're just joyful. It's not like you have a deadline, but you just fucking want it now. Then I would invest in getting the right support that you need. So whether it's me or someone else, if you are in a rush and you want to make it happen, I would stop beating around the bush, and I would really look for the right mentor that resonates with you and you resonate with them. There's a twin flame soul contract. Awesome. So, y'all are so adorable. And Aphrodite Rose, love the name. And hello, Cynthia and Amy. Champagne. It's fun. All right. So does everyone have a twin flame? I have a video about that, so I'm going to skip that question. I think the video was something like, twin flames, is there only one? And that is a very fascinating question. I love that question. I loved answering it. So feel free to check that out. Let's see. This is awesomeness. Thank you for sharing, and congrats on pussy freedom. Yes, that was a really big feat. All right. So what's the best meditation for beginners? That is a very good question. It's also a very broad question. There's no one size fits all. I love masturbation, and that has been really powerful for me. Like, I'll lay and meditate, I'll listen to drum journeys, and oftentimes they end up in self-pleasuring. So I'll be teaching more about that in a more specific way. I already have courses at Aphrodite University on that, but at some point I'll have like a Manifest with Orgasm Masturbation 101. There's just so many courses that I'm teaching right now. I'm going to be launching Twin Flame Self-Love Bootcamp. It's going to be a 3-part self-love initiation to your twin flame in the next couple of months. We're going to be doing a solstice call the day after tomorrow. So just if you're on my newsletter, you'll hear about that. There's no registration page, but if you are new to my work, then you can go to dramandanuel.com or aphroditeuniversity.org and opt in for the free gift, and you'll get the solstice. So it is actually already 1:37, and I would love to answer these questions. I'm going to go ahead and save the questions that have been answered by copy pasting them for consideration for next week. I really, really enjoyed this time with you. For those of you who are really, you're kidding yourself that you can figure out the twin flame journey on your own without lots of bumps and bruises, and you are a badass bachelorette, and you are on a mission here to call in your twin flame in the next year, and you want my support, I would love to help you. Normally I charge a $697 exchange for my twin flame activation work, but I do have a couple of spots every month, and I have probably 1 or 2 spots this week even, since I don't have any house guests in town. Last week and the week before I did, so I have some space. Do make sure that you mention that you met me on this YouTube video in the comments on the application form, and I'll give you a little something special as well. So just mention that you met on YouTube. So aphroditeuniversity.org/activate. I'll put that in the comments. And during these sessions, we're going to freaking exercise that male control energy. The 1 or 2 sessions that I'll do this week, I'm specifically getting guidance that there's a woman who has a lot of male control energy around her pussy power, her money, and her twin flame. And it's making it really a struggle for her to have fun. And she's having a hard time setting not boundaries, but specifically a big boundary, yes, boundaries, but she's having a boundary issue because she feels that if she sets this boundary, then no one will love her. And it's really not about him. It's about, she's afraid to let her true self out because she is afraid that if she does, it'll burn her bridges for like the massive number of potential partners that there are. And it's really true. And she needs to do that to actually show the universe she's actually committing to herself. And she's afraid of rejection and abandonment. So if that sounds like you, go ahead and reach out, aphroditeuniversity.org, which is APHROIDITE university.org/activate. And I have so much fun doing these sessions. It's amazing to get to meet those of you from my tribe in this capacity in a one-on-one call. It's such a powerful journey. It is for those of you who are really committed to your process over the next 12 months to call in your twin flame. And some women actually are also guided to explore their sacred soul purpose aligned blissnesses as well. That's part of the work that is what I do. So check out that link, watch the video, apply for your complimentary twin flame activation session. Price will go up in the next 24 hours. So make sure you apply and mention that you are from this YouTube Live. And I got your questions Thank you so much. I will be responding to some of these. And can you recommend resources for goddess archetypes? Yes, Aphrodite University, great resource. The Archetypes of Aphrodite is an incredible 12-month long journey, and you get an archetype released every month on the shift of the zodiac. So that's my favorite resource. That's because I've spent years researching it and making it and researching it in my life. And I love Aphrodite because she's really in all the other goddesses. Like I said, Kali is one reflection of her. Mother Mary is another one, and all the other archetypes. And you are one of them. And we have all of the 12 within us as well, which is such a mind fuck. It's a hologram within a hologram. All right, sisters. So I'll see you on the solstice. Save the time. It's going to be 5 p.m. my time. So it's actually 3 p.m. in California. And that's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 Eastern Standard Time, so New York. So thanks for the beautiful time together. I appreciate your comments, sharing wisdom to empower us all. Kick ass. Thank you so much, Amy, and all of you for being here, for your beautiful comments. I did read through them and feel the love. So I'll see you next week, same time, same space, and I'll see you on Thursday for the solstice. And for the lucky, those of you that feel ready for one-on-one time with me that get approved, I can't wait to meet you in person, on the phone, of course, one-on-one. Namaste, namasko. Much love.